Yep, she's gone. No, hold on. Before I step in the way here, quick guitar update for people who are paying close attention. I don't know. The rack has not changed much in the last 8 months, but it's changing almost daily now because I'm doing a lot of work on guitars. Been moving some stuff around. Kind of decluttered that back shelf up there. So where are the other guitars? The Red Strat is out, or sorry, the Red Strat is in storage. The Red Flying V is getting a tune-up and some TLC on it. The Black Stratocaster is getting the new parts installed on it, the bridge saddles, and I picked out a really nice set of top-of-the-line Shaler locking machine head tuners for it. So those are getting installed as we speak, and hopefully it'll be ready maybe Monday, Tuesday next week. What else? Yeah, so I pulled out a couple of acoustics here to just fill up the rack for the time being. And so let's get into what happened with Stephanie, the Gibson Les Paul Classic Limited Edition Cherryburst. Just before we do, let me tell you about that refund advice, because that could be helpful to anybody, regardless if you're into guitars or not, right? So, some of you may be familiar with when you make, there's a dollar limit on your debit card. So mine was set at $1,000. I'm okay with that. I don't think most of us make too many purchases at that level often. So to purchase this guitar, I had to call the bank to extend the limit. So I wasn't surprised that I had to do that. I was almost expecting it, and it only took a couple minutes on the phone with the bank, and they extended the limit, and no fine. So, but when I went to return it, I literally kind of had the opposite problem happen. So it wouldn't let the refund go through. So when you think about the logic behind that, that shouldn't really make sense, right? Because a bank can't limit a deposit into your account. It doesn't know who's paying you what, or here or there or whatever. I've had some 10-cent deposits and some $10,000 deposits. So, it can't limit deposits. And so that was, anyway, after quite a long time, actually what should have taken maybe 2 or 3 minutes, took an hour and a half. But we figured out what it was, and it was the store's system had a limit on how much it could refund at a time. Same as my card having a limit on purchases. So again, some of you may be familiar with the practice of you could split purchases, right? So say something's $1,500 and you've got $1,000 limit. You could make one at $1,000 and another one for $500 and then buy the item. So that's what we ended up having to do in the reverse to get the refund. They had to refund me, dollar amounts less than $1,000 at a time to make it happen. So that could happen to any of you. Who knows, buying a fridge or a stove or a hot tub or something, I don't know. So there's some advice on that. So let's get to the story of Stephanie. There's a clip at the end, and you can just skip to that if you just kind of want to know what's going on, right? And hear me explain stuff there. I'm talking in the clip, but I'm just going to leave a little short blip on this video because I'm already talking too much. I really did a lot of homework on this, guys, right? I'm pretty voracious when it comes to research and stuff. I'm very good at it. I've been an industrial electrician for 35 years, right? So I know a lot about that kind of stuff. And of course, I've been playing the guitar for that amount of time too. So I've had issues with guitars before. Bad grounds, bad cables, bad jacks, something wrong with the amp, So I do know, how to diagnose things and stuff. And I've also been kind of polishing up on my luthier skills in the last few weeks and stuff too. Just trying to learn, a little bit more about guitars and how they should function properly and all that stuff. So anyway, this phenomenon that happened with my guitar doesn't seem to be inherent to every Gibson coming off the line. Okay, one of the other persons that I, contacted had the issue on an SG, not a Les Paul, right? So that kind of means that, doesn't necessarily mean what line you're talking about with Gibson. It's got something to do with the finish. Okay. Suffice to say, the store had a 30-day, no hassle return policy. So that was literally how it went. There was no hassles. There's no issues as far as that was concerned, right? But I didn't tell them the guitar was defective. In my mind, it's defective. But, from a scientific principle, another person playing that guitar in another environment might not have that issue, Now, you're going to say, well, Phil, you just admitted it was your environment. No, I didn't, because as you can see, I have a lot of guitars here behind me, and I haven't had anything else ever close to something like this ever happening before. And again, the little clip will show you that, I show you what happened with the Gibson and then immediately pick up the Epi here and, plugged into the same system. Everything's fine, right? So, somebody somebody wrote me the other day saying, why do people call a guitar she? I don't get it. And I thought about the answer for a long time, actually, what to reply, because a whole bunch of replies went through my head. And I ended up saying just, well, maybe one day you will, right? Because maybe it was just a kid or something like that, right? But kind of like 2 days later, I had the answer, the exact answer, right? Because this thing kind of broke my heart. I really loved this guitar. It was a great player. It looked fantastic, as you guys saw. The sound was incredible on it. And when you're playing the guitar, there's kind of no issue other than this static buildup. So, but it was a deal breaker. It was a deal breaker. So, I had to let her go. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit soured on Gibsons there right now. They haven't really formally acknowledged this issue. They did change their back plates on their guitars a couple of years ago to this, supposed shielded one. And I think that was at least a little bit of a, tacit admission that there could be a problem. And a lot of people say that that's where their problem is. Like and mine had that as well. If I rubbed that plate on the back cavity, I would get the same kind of effect, but nowhere near what it would do on the finish of the guitar. So again, you'll see it in the clip. So end of the day, I got my money back, right? But I kind of lost my dream guitar, so I'm a little bit heartbroken about that. So that's kind of why we call guitars she, Jason. So what else? Let's hope that the actually, we're filming here on the old iPhone setup with the Boya mini shotgun mic, because the good setup is over there in the corner, and it filmed the end segment to this video, but there's something else I want to film in that exact same position, so I didn't want to have to relocate it all again, right? So, love and peace to all of you. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We are YouTube. Well, I've checked this guitar all over. It has perfect grounding and continuity. There's no issues there. I've replaced all the patch cables and cords and changed amplifiers, and I've opened up the back there into the pot cavity to take a look at all the wiring to make sure everything's okay. I don't find any problem with this guitar. It sounds great. Here. But it seems to have this static generating problem, and it's not a grounding issue. Okay, if I touch the, sorry, go that way. Hear that zippering sound? There's still this static built up. I don't even touch any of the strings. How is this possible? The best description I've read so far has been that there seems to be something conductive in this particular coating. I'm not saying that all Gibsons have this one or problem. I just mean this particular guitar has, because there's umpteen stories on the internet of people having this issue. There's people that have gone through the whole warranty deal, the whole, replacement of every single electronic piece in the guitar. So they've replaced all the pickups, all the pots, switches, everything, and it still generates static.
Right to this right now. You're not gonna hear any static at all. Here's the epiphone.
No static, no issues, no bad ground on this system or this amp or anything like that. Look at that. Perfectly quiet, right? What's the problem with that guitar?